Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jayo Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Stotra Shakta Shishimati Dandi Goswami Istivange Shila Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the Sema devotees. All glories to the Sema devotees. All glories to the Sema devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Swami Krishna Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 English language? Yeah, okay. So we're reading from the glorious Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, the activities of the Prachetas, Text 5. Is it on the board, Text 5? Or? Nobody wrote. Okay. Well, in the days of mobile phones, maybe you can look up the verse on your phone, or let's see, huh? Okay. Suparna, chapter 30, 4:30, text 5. Suparna Skandam Arudaha Meru Shringam Iva Abudaha Pitavasaha Manigriva Kurvan Vitimiraha Disha Suparnaskandam Arudho Suparnaskandam Arudho Meru Shringam Ivam Buddha Meru Shringam Ivam Buddha Pitavasa Manigriva Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vimira Kurvan Vitimiradisha Kurvan Vitimiradisha Suparnaskandam Arudho Meru Shringam Ivam Buddham Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimiradisha. Someone would like to chant?
Suparnaskandam Arudho Meru Shringam Ivam Buddha Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimiradisha Suparnaskandam Arudho Meru Shringam Ivam Buddha Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimiradisha
Mataji?
Suparnaskandam Arudho
Suparnaskandam Arudho
Meru Shringam Ivam Buddha
Meru Shringam Ivam Buddha
Pitavasa Manigriva
Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimiradisha Suparnaskandam Arudho Meru Shringam Ivam Buddha Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimiradisha Suparna of Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu. Skandam, the shoulder. Arudaha, sitting on. Meru, of the mountain named Meru. Shringam, on the summit. Iva, like. Ambudaha, a cloud. Pitavasaha, wearing yellow garments. Manigrivaha, his neck decorated with the Kaustuba jewel. Kurvan, making. Vitimiraha, free from darkness. Dishaha, all directions. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead appearing on the shoulder of Garuda seemed like a cloud resting on the summit of the mountain known as Meru. The transcendental body of the personality of Godhead was covered by attractive yellow garments, and his neck was decorated with the jewel known as Kaustubhamani. The bodily effulgence of the Lord dissipated all the darkness of the universe. Purport. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22:31, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Handakara Yahan Krishna Tahanahi Mayara Adhikara. The Lord is just like the effulgent sun. Consequently, whenever the Supreme Personality of Godhead is present, there cannot be darkness or ignorance. Actually, this dark universe is illuminated by the sun, but the sun and moon simply reflect the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 7.8, the Lord says, Prabhasmi Shashi Suryaho, I am the illuminating energy of both the sun and the moon. The conclusion is that the origin of all life is the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also confirmed in Brahma Sanghitya, Yasya Prabha Bhavavato Jagaranda Koti. Being illuminated by the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is freed from all darkness. Suparanaskandam arudo merushingam ivam buddha pitava samani griva kurvan vittimiradishaha. The personality of Godhead appearing on the shoulder of Garuda seemed like a cloud resting on the summit of the mountain known as Meru. The transcendental body of the personality of Godhead was covered by attractive yellow garments, and his neck was decorated with the jewel known as Kaustubhamani. The bodily effulgence of the Lord dissipated all the darkness of the universe. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistang Stapitang Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschayata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're just at the spot where Krishna is appearing in front of the Prachetas. And appearance of Krishna is always something very special, and it always has a cause or an origin. And I wonder if you remember how it so happened that Krishna, or that they got that mercy of Krishna to appear in front of them. It was a few chapters before. I thought it was very meditating. Okay, Krishna appears in their life. We want Krishna to appear in our life. We maybe had some glimpses of Krishna appearing in our life too, in our devotional service, in contact with the Krishna's spiritual energy, and some spurti, little indication sometimes slips through. And I was then going back a few chapters, going to the chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. So maybe if you can recall, the Prachetas, they were ordered by their father to marry and beget children, and kind of to populate the universe. And for this, they went into the ocean, or they planned to go into the ocean and practice austerities, penances for 10,000 years. So it was Satya Yuga. Also, Prabhupada describes in purport, by that indication, it must have been Satya Yuga. Thus, they worshipped the master of all austerity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's also a very important point here. Their intention, their sankalpa, was to perform these austerities, these penances, for the pleasure of Krishna, for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So with that sankalpa, with that in mind, they went to execute their father's order, who we also found out later is a Vaishnava. So he had there was a dharmic understanding that he ordered his sons as a father. They knew in order to follow this order, they had to prepare themselves with this tapasya, with the sadhana, in order to have the proper consciousness, the strength to follow that order. So also when Yudhishthira was asked at the lake by the mystical voice, all his sons had been taken away. Oh no, they were killed. They were lying on the shore. And he was asked some questions, and if he was said, if you answer those questions properly, then your brothers will come back to life. It was Yamaraj in disguise testing his son Yudhishthira. And one of the questions was, how does great things come about? And he says, by tapasya. So it's a common thing in this world. If we want something great to happen and also value it when it happens, we need to do some tapasya before. Like when if you want to build up a business, usually it affords a big amount of tapasya. It's a big sadhana. You have to get up early and start working hard in the morning. And we can speak to business people. Some of them really worked hard for that. And then they have their son who inherited all his money, and he has no appreciation whatsoever for it, because he never did the tapasya to manifest this opulence. So this is a kind of a law of nature, that to make something great happen, you have to do an endeavor for it. You have to sacrifice something for it. It doesn't just come by anything. And in the same way, to try to please Krishna, the sadhana we perform is a certain tapasya, where we put aside our own kind of our own agenda to some point, according to our process we did in our journey back to Krishna, and we want to do something for the pleasure of Krishna. So the Prachetas had that intention. Then in the next verse, the sons of Prachinabarishat left home to execute austerities. They met Lord Shiva, who out of great mercy instructed them about the absolute truth. All the sons of Prachinabari meditated upon the instructions, chanting and worshipping them with great care and attention. So they met Shiva. Did they meet him just like that? How did it happen? So they came, it's not mentioned specifically, but I believe it was Manas Sarovar, where Shiva resides, because it's described there were beautiful, before that actually, Maitreya speaks this to Vidura. He says like, yeah, they met Shiva, he got their mercy, and Vidura is like, okay, how did they get Shiva's mercy? That's also, Vidura is teaching us like to be inquisitive. When a devotee or devotees get mercy of Krishna, when they're blessed and Krishna appears in front of them, we want to know, how did it happen? How did it happen that the Prachetas got the mercy of Vaishnava? Now I have Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. How did they get mercy of one of the greatest Vaishnavas, Shiva? And Vidura is asking, my dear Brahmana, why did the Prachetas meet Lord Shiva on the way? Please tell me how the meeting happened, how Lord Shiva became very pleased with them, and how he instructed them. Certainly such talks are important, and I wish that you please be merciful upon me and describe them. So such talks are very important, and he wanted to know how it came about that Shiva was inclined to give that mercy. And then Vidura further makes a point, and he says he knew that it's not just easy to get Shiva's mercy, especially to get a spiritual benediction. See, Shiva is said easily for material benedictions. That's why we have in Hindu society a lot worship Shiva. He gives easy material benediction. But Vidura said it is very difficult for living entities encaged within this material body to have personal contact with Lord Shiva. He actually even says personal contact. So it's not only that Shiva gave mercy, he appeared in front of the Prachetas. So how did that happen to get that contact? Even great sages who have no material attachments do not contact him, despite their always being absorbed in meditation to attain his personal contact. So he's kind of glorifying Lord Shiva, but at the same time expressing that it's not easy to just contact Shiva and get a spiritual blessing. And then Maitreya says, my dear Vidura, because of their pious nature, all the sons of Prajnabhari very seriously accepted the words of their father with heart and soul, and with these words on their heads they went toward the west to execute their father's order. So one hint is here, because of their pious nature, explaining that they took their father's words very seriously. They really were determined to act upon this instruction. So then, while traveling towards, it's said, towards the west, well, they came across this lake with beautiful lotus flower, beautiful water animals, birds, trees around it. There were Gandharvas singing beautiful songs. There were the Chakravaka Karandava birds, whatever that may be for a bird, cranes were there. Trees and creepers on the side of the lake, bumblebees humming, so it was a very beautiful spot. And the sons of the 10 sons of King Prajnabhari became very amazed, and by vibrations of various drums and kettle drums, along with other orderly musical sounds pleasing to the ear. So then the Prachetas were very fortunate to see Lord Shiva, the chief of the demigods, emerging from the water with his associates. He had Nilkantha, bluish throat. He had 3 eyes. He looked very mercifully upon his devotees. He was accompanied by musicians, and the Prachetas immediately offered obeisance with great amazement and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord. So here we hear Shiva came. They didn't go and look for Shiva. They just came about this lake, and it happened that Shiva took notice of their coming and he appeared. So again, this is very like Vidura before explaining. It's very hard to meet Shiva, and Shiva came to them. So that must mean something. So in the next verse, Lord Shiva became very pleased with the Prachetas, because generally Lord Shiva is the protector of pious persons and persons of gentle behavior. Being very much pleased with the princess, he began to speak as follows. So here one word is important, Dharma Vatsala. We have the expression Bhakta Vatsala, but there is also the expression Dharma Vatsala. Very much fond of religious principles. So one of it's said that the Prachetas very dharmically, very faithfully followed the instruction of their father, which is kind of dharma. They were, and Shiva became pleased of their sincerity to follow that instruction. And then there is also the Sanskrit word dharma gyan, persons who are aware of religious principles, and shila sampanam, very well behaved. So the Prachetas were very well behaved persons, and this was one of the qualities which attracted Shiva to appear. Shila is conduct, sampanam, which is translated as very well behaved. And Shiva said, he knew what he was going to do. You are all the sons of King Pachinabari, and I wish all good fortune to you. I also know what you are going to do, and therefore I am visible to you just to show my mercy upon you. So he knew. He knew that they were following the order of his father, and he knew that their intention, their sankalpa, was to please Krishna by this. And Lord Shiva continued, any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the controller of everything. The controller of everything, material nature as well as the living entity, is actually very dear to me. So he saw the devotional qualities of the Prachetas, and they became very dear to me, and Shiva reached out to them to bestow his mercy. And then, as we see in the chapter, he gives them this song, this prayers by Lord Shiva, which he instructed them to chant. And by the power actually of these prayers, Vishnu later then appeared in front of them, as we heard in today's verse, on Garuda, being carried with the Kaustubha Mani jewel. So it seems like that by this description here in the chapter 24, that Shiva was attracted by the devotional qualities, but also by the, say, dharma vatsala, dharmic qualities of the Prachetas, and their gentle, being well behaved, by their nature of being well behaved, and he was attractive to Shiva. And later then, when Vishnu speaks, he gives some indication, because Vishnu then says, I'm very much pleased by your friendly behavior among yourselves, which again is kind of a confirmation of their being well behaved, and among themselves they were dealing in a very friendly way, and Vishnu points that out and says, I'm very much pleased by that. So there's some indication going through here in the fourth canto, all about the happenings of Maharaj Prachinabharit and his sons, that this being friendly amongst one's fellow Vaishnavas and practitioners, and ultimately towards all the living entities, is something which pleases Vishnu and also the great devotees. And I think this is a momentum that we wanna and we need the mercy of Shri Guru, the Vaishnavas, and by this good behavior, by this friendly acting amongst us Vaishnavas, by having a good character, it's something which is attractive for the devotees, and where they naturally feel, I want to give him their mercy. Have you experienced this once before? You met the devotee and he did something so nice to you that you just think, I wish this person all good. I just wish him all good. And you maybe even pray to Krishna, may he get Krishna Prema in this life, or may he, whatever you feel like that. And it's not something which up here, it's in your heart. You feel touched by this person, and you feel, oh, I wish him all good. And this momentum, this we need to create in meeting Vaishnavas and meeting our spiritual master. That by our sincere service, like Prachetas, they had in mind to please Krishna. They were their father is like their spiritual master, they were very focused. Prabhupada also mentions at one point Vyavasika Matmika Buddhir, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur pointing out the disciple has this one-pointedness on the Guru's instruction. They have that. They want to please Krishna, and they have a good character. They behave nicely. And by this nice behavior, we touch the hearts of other devotees, we touch the heart of our spiritual master, of advanced devotees, and they feel, and it just makes, oof, oh yeah, this is a nice person, may he have all blessings. And this, in the case of Prachetas, made actually Vishnu to appear. So, wow, what a great blessing. I think this shows also a bit the mechanism how blessings come about. It's not something, okay, now I'm a more bit advanced devotee or whatever, now I should bless this under me. It's something which happens on a more feeling level, that you're touched by some good qualities with whom you're associating, and I believe even you just have to have this. I think it's even said somewhere in scripture, just by the Guru being pleased, this emotion of pleased, Krishna's mercy is coming. Well, we have it, Yasya Prasada, Bhagavat Prasada, Yasya Prasada Nagati Kudopi. If we have this sentiment of being pleased, and because he's so dear to Krishna, and if Krishna sees his devotee, he's being pleased. So, oh, why did he get pleased? Oh, his disciple was serving him so nicely, or this devotee was serving this other devotee, so now he's pleased. Wow, yeah, all blessing unto him. So I think it's very significant. There's, these aspects of for the pleasure of Krishna with a fixed intention and by good behavior. It's something very powerful which attracts the mercy of the Vaishnavas. And then Shiva gave these prayers which they were chanting in their tapasya, and with Lord Vishnu then appearing, expressing, then later I was very happy by your friendly conduct. And then what happens when Krishna appears, as we heard today? He is like the sun. Kurvan viti miradisha, making all the darkness in all directions disappear. So by good fortune, I was at the festival in Golokadam, and often so it happens, you come there on your, in German you say, auf dem Zahnfleisch, on your gums, kind of you're really everyday working, struggling in your spiritual life to somewhat, you're under the water and you're gasping for air, and then you come in this nectarian, you come like really like a wet dog. Sometimes we have this expression, you're like a wet dog. You're like, I've seen a wet dog, he's like, I'm wet, I don't feel well, like that. So you come there like that, and you come into this beautiful association of Vaishnavas and your spiritual master, and you just like from moment to moment, your consciousness rises, or the darkness goes out of your body, and suddenly you feel you can breathe again, and you feel, oh, everything's all right. So that's the effect of Krishna appearing in the association of devotees, in the association of the spiritual master, in doing service together. And I guess everyone can tell stories of that when we come in nice association, especially the association of devotees is for me a very strong place where Krishna appears very powerfully and strongly, and which is it's very strong to dissipate our own darkness we have in life, and suddenly things become clear again. The questions we had are like, oh yeah, of course, it's solved, and there is such an enthusiasm coming back in our heart. So that's Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andakara Yahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Mayara Adhikara. The Lord is just like the effulgent sun, and wherever Krishna is, there cannot be darkness or ignorance. So our own ignorance is being washed away. And I think that's why I was trying to point out how this happened, that Krishna appeared, that the Prachetas got the mercy of a devotee. That's because that's what we all want. We want Krishna to appear in our life. And we want to set the foundation to actually Krishna come in our life. And here it's very nicely described what foundation the Prachetas had for Krishna to appear. There's also one story. There is I think it's out of the Christian tradition, there is a monastery. There is 4 monks and they're the chief monk, the Abt. I don't know if you have in English the word Abt. In German you say Abt. That's like the temple president in the Christian monasteries. And he was very old. And I hope I can get it right now. Anyway, the Christian temple president, he left his body. And the 4 monks were like, oh, who will be now the next authority in our monastery? And they were puzzled because this is the tradition, we need someone who will guide us. So they knew there was in the mountains, there was a Christian hermit, a saint, and they went to him to ask him to tell them who could be our follower. And there was a nice point. They came to the saint, and the saint said, okay, you come all to me, but you all come alone. So one after the other, the monks came to the saint, and he said, I think he said, it's one of your fellow companions, one of your 4. I think he said something more, and it will show who it is. They said, okay, we will find out. Kind of, saints are always a bit mystical. They have they don't give a clear instruction, so we got a hint. So years went on. They were actually waiting for of their fellow companions for the next up to temple president to emerge, but he didn't. But they realized many people around the monastery were very attracted to them to come there, and things went very smooth. They had a very nice exchange with each other. They felt very inspired in their own practice. And actually what the saint said to them, it could be one of yours, so they know, oh, it might be him or it might be him, so I need to treat him very respectfully. So they never actually had the next authority, but they had a very, very respectful and loving exchange to each other, because they knew, oh, it might be one of them. So kind of the saint tricked them a bit, but he actually helped them to exceed and progress very nicely. And I think this is a very attractive thing also in our outward going mood we have from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We have a mission, kind of, can be, mission has also negative connotations, but we are outward going. We want to attract people to Krishna consciousness. And I think by this mood setting amongst devotees, this with a good behavior, with friendliness like the Prachetas, it's not only attractive for the more advanced devotees and Krishna, it's also attractive for people coming as association. Oh, they have a very nice dealing amongst each other. This is very attractive. And I think it's also, as I mentioned before, one of my humble explanations of a Madhyamadikari is he knows how much dependent I am on the association of Vaishnavas for Krishna to appear in my life. I can chant a lot of rounds, I can very strictly study Shastra and be very absorbed in my bhajan, but if I don't have the Vaishnavas, I will not meet Krishna. Naham tishtami vaikunte. Krishna is not in Vaikuntha, he's not in the hearts of the yogis, but he's there where the devotees are associating and speaking of me. And I think understanding of Madhyamadikari is that, oh, yeah, I'm very dependent on this association of Vaishnavas, that I have a good character, I please them in a conduct that I'm serving. And this way that Krishna appears in my life. I also always like the understanding in when we're all together on a travel towards Krishna. It's a path we're walking on, and sometimes it goes very steep, sometimes it goes very steep down. There's obstacles coming we face, and I always thought it's a nice meditation. We're carrying our own rucksack and weights we have with us, our own impurities and things we're working out, and sometimes it tends to become very heavy, and we get blisters on our feet which start bleeding, and it's hard to walk. And it's a nice meditation if you see your friend walking along and he's struggling to carry that rucksack. He said, okay, give me your rucksack, I'll carry it for you, even though you have blisters on your feet and it hurts too, but I want to make sure he comes along too, so I carry your rucksack. So this is always I thought it's a nice mood amongst when you practice devotional service together, to have this mood. Okay, I want to see that all of them, they come along with me, and if needed I will carry his rucksack even though I have pain on my feet too, or they're bleeding. And in this way, speaking of a good behavior, like that may be one of the good behaviors we can show by trying to serve us and helping out devotees when we are on our way to Krishna, which is, as we know, there are many obstacles there we need to face. Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Shishi Gaura Nitai. Now I lost my line. Anyway, so Krishna appears. I thought, like in where I came back, it's very encouraging then, and also it's one thing, like if you are in a leader position, or you have in a position where there was devotees, you start inspiring devotees by your age in Krishna consciousness. You can either lead by being very strong or authoritarian, which I claim, or you can lead, which I claim might be not so effective, but also you can lead by this good behavior, this good character, which is very inspiring. I always remember Jayananda and Vishnujan Swami. There's the book Radha Damodar Vilas, where it really describes their qualities, and all devotees were so much attracted to them because they had such a nice personality, such a nice character. Really comes out there, how they were appreciative, how they, like Jayananda used to build the Rath carts he built also the first Rath cart for Jagannath Baladev Subhadra in San Francisco, and some druggies used to come there, and they were like, hey, what are you doing like that? Oh, come along, you can help. It was not like, this druggie, no, he can come do some devotional service for Jagannath. So this inclusiveness, come here, yes, come and build. And he knew, okay, he might be a druggie or something like that, but by this service he can do this immense benefit for him. He might not become a devotee in this life, but he gets a credit there which will help him so much. So this is this inclusiveness, which I also may proclaim here as a good behavior. So we include, we integrate, we include all devotees with all their good qualities. The druggie could help building the chariot, but with all their maybe not so good qualities, but which are temporary. Like we said, we're all in a shower, and if you start criticizing your fellow devotee, oh, you're actually very dirty. What are you doing here? Well, I'm standing in the shower. So and you're also standing in the shower, by the way. So yes, we should be inclusive, also based on psychology. If you wanna give some correction to someone, you at least 3, better 5 glorifications, 5 positive things. So you may have a chance he may hear you. So that's just how conditioned psyche works. If we even have a position to correct someone, if we just go there and say, Prabhu, nah, this is not good. By our conditioned nature is usually, who are you to tell this to me? You might be whoever, but don't you see me? You know, so by first really seeing the good, appreciating what this devotee is doing, it might be not even necessary anymore to do the correction. You say, actually, I realized this is not so good yet, because by this appreciation you feel so much appreciated, and you can actually then self-reflect on yourself, where he's seeing so much good in me, but actually, I know that there and there I still need to improve. It's like often in parent coaching, it's a general case, parents come and say, my child did this and this, and first, before I will give him here to your institution, before he can come back home, he has to say sorry. It's not going to work. The children have to learn from their parents to say sorry. So the parents have to go to them and say, look, I think I acted wrongly with you. I'm very, very sorry. So the child learns, oh, actually, you can say sorry and it's okay. So it's like when we take the blame on us and responsibility on us in dealings with devotees, then things go much more natural and much more develop much more appreciative. So that's because when we interact with us devotees, they're reacting to us positively and negatively. Whatever mood we have, they react to us. So if a devotee may be acting wrongly, maybe first look, how was I acting towards him? Okay, yeah, naturally if I said this and like that to you, or maybe I looked at you a bit funny, then you think like that, so of course you react like that. So we take the blame on us. So also Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, in one of his community principles, is in every conflict, always first go from the position that it's something that I've caused this conflict, it's something to do with me. And it becomes that way it becomes very powerful, because it gives, you take responsibility for yourself, and it gives space to the other actually to actually even reflect for himself. Because if you just accuse, he will just block and say, hey, come on, why are you accusing me? He doesn't even get the space to reflect on himself. So I think this being inclusive, being appreciative, taking responsibility, carrying the backpack, the rucksack of the other, taking responsibility for ourselves, how others act around you, it might have a lot to do with me, how I am acting with them. I think that's, if we're reflecting on well-behaved, as it's written there, what Shiva was attracted to, I was thinking of some of these points. I'm still struggling with the new schedule of I thought deity greeting starts at past, so I slipped in my Gayatri while deity greeting. Until when is class going?
Usually we go till 8:30.
8:30. Okay. So maybe we'll round up slowly. And yeah, to my 3 points, for myself, I extracted from the glorious Srimad Bhagavatam how to attract Krishna's mercy, or even how to attract the Vaishnava's mercy. One is we have a sankalpa. We want to act for the pleasure of Krishna. We take the instructions of the spiritual master of the Shastra. We take this very sincerely, and we have a good behavior, gentle, good behavior, also amongst us, that is very attractive, to get the mercy of the Vaishnavas and the mercy of Krishna. Hare Krishna. You have some contributions, comments, questions?
There is a very nice saying I heard, goes like this: people don't care what you know if they don't know that you care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think it's a very powerful statement.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, how can we spoke about the devotee community, and we see how some devotees, we might not know them, let's say some senior preachers, and they come in, but immediately you can feel some you want to hear from them, you want to listen, and they're kind of naturally, maybe they didn't come consciously and speak to you or do something, but you can feel some genuine care.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems there's like different levels of how we can care for other people or other devotees.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we cultivate that consciousness that we actually care for other devotees, for other living entities, and in this way we become also relevant.
Mm-hmm.
In maybe at some point, we can share our realizations and people actually really feel, oh, here's a person I trust.
Mm-hmm. 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 One opposite to caring is being egoistic or on your ego, and there comes to my mind, how does our false ego go away? By tears, by suffering ourselves. See, connection to maturity, that's one aspect. We go through our life and we suffer ourselves, and actually suffering helps us to understand other people's suffering. But there is also this, as you set your mind on something, I want to be more caring, you create a certain focus, a certain attention. I want to be more caring. So it involves introspection. Oh, in this dealing with devotees, was I actually caring or was I thinking of myself? Like it's a cultivation. It's like also in this like what you said before. How did you say it? It's very nicely said. What?
First,
that saying.
People don't care what you know if they don't know that you care.
Exactly, yeah. So I think this momentum of care is very strongly connected that you have the ability to understand them, or that the opposite of you feels understood. And it's actually a great art to come to this mood, to feel, to that someone, you can give the feeling to someone that he feels understood. It's not so easy, because we are off. One thing blocks us, we have our own agenda, and immediately we have this, it's a very noble, actually, quality, we immediately want to help. But this immediate help, I think what your problem is, try to do this, but actually the person didn't even feel understood yet. And this noble desire to help actually first is, hey, come on, you don't even understand me. So for me, very prominent and very principle is actually what Adler says. He's in the category of Freud and Jung, psychologists. Once you come to the point where you feel, I would have acted in the same way like this person, it doesn't matter what you say anymore, you will feel understood. So need to put your own agenda aside. You need to listen. You really need to listen. What is this person going through? And then go somewhat in his situation, in his shoes, and respect, respect, look back once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, again and again. Oh, do I really get what this person is going through? Aha, you said like this and this. Aha, do I understand properly? You felt in this and this way. Yeah, I did, but then this happened, and actually I felt, oh really, wow, that must have been really bad. And then and then with this happening, 50% of his suffering, his problem he had is already gone. Even at least 50%. Just by the momentum that he feels understood, and then he feels cared for. Oh, this person cares for me. He wants to know what I'm going through. And I see also this is a bit of a, as you mentioned, preachers are coming. This can be a bit of a pitfall of a preacher, that we lose the ability to actually listen. we're so much accustomed to speak, and we always put on the throne, and we're speaking, but when devotees might come to you, you lost the ability to actually really listen. So I think that's something as a outward going movement we need to be aware of. Yeah, and it's a lot. If you want to care for people, it involves a lot of self-reflection, self-criticism, questioning yourself, questioning actually what you think is good for the other, and putting aside your own agenda and your. Sometimes when I look at myself, the first 20 years in Krishna consciousness, or even more, and also in my job where I was a lot about care, I was just too stuck up with myself to be actually care. I was just too much in my own world. We got to break out of our own little world and start having this mood of taking the rucksack of other people, carrying it, being ready to carry it. Might be very heavy. It might disturb your japa for a moment. It might really, And of course, if we want to care for people, we need places again where we charge up, where we get back to our strength. We can't just be the martyr, how do you say, märtyrer, who just, and then we die on the battlefield. We need to get back our strength, of course. That's clear. Then we have our capacity. No. Hare Krishna. You would like to ask a question? Oh, wonderful. Even better. Mm-hmm.
I was listening to a TED talk, and in that, this lady, she said that sometimes people are competent, but they're not born. And sometimes people are born, but they're not competent.
Mm-hmm.
But then what we really need is a combination of competence and warmth.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I was just thinking that in our relationships also, it's not, as Vaishnavas especially when we read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and other scriptures, there's so much affection involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like so much affection.
Mm-hmm.
And affection comes from service actually.
Mm-hmm.
Finding little ways to support somebody, doing something for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And like they say in the outside world, like kindness is actually more for us than for others when we are kind to somebody. And then I at least personally went through this journey. I'm still going on this journey because like sometimes I see when I deal with Vaishnavas, I'm so hard-hearted.
Mm-hmm.
And I can also be very rash.
Mm-hmm.
And to really go for through transformation, you have to pray a lot as Vaishnava. And this factor of gratitude is very important, that when we are so grateful for what we have, the hardships, the difficult part of being with Vaishnavas, but also the glorious part. And then we pray, and we with a grateful heart, and with the mentality that I want to have nice relationship with Vaishnavas. And then you see like sometimes, although it may not be your natural behavior, you are surprised that, I can also be soft-hearted. I can also just listen and not say something. And when you see how much it melts the heart of the other, then you feel like, wow, I want to do more of it. So I really liked this story of the Christian monastery that you shared. That's quite incredible that just with this beautiful friendship that they had between each other, it attracted others. And that's actually what a community is. That if we have such a nice relationship with each other, that's preaching.
Yeah, a wonderful point. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for that contribution.
You should do the same thing this time.
Should do the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
With who will be the next one? No one in charge, and everyone is so nice to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. as more as you have position, or you have a position as a certain leader, actually the more we are the most leader servant. The more we are a servant, actually. That even a guy, a business person, told me who'd had very successful business. The higher I went there, the more I'm aware the more I need to be a servant of all my employees. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Grantarachima Bhagavatam ki jai, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Oh, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
think that the cartoon Krishna, little Krishna, make a great service for the world, yes, because
Yes.
the common people cannot activate them.
Yes,
It's only a cartoon, yes, alone, other cartoon.
Yes. And it really also leaves an imprint in the heart.
Yeah,
That's right.
create good sunsets
Yes.
for the common people.
That's true. Thank you, Mom.
Because bhakti is superior, it's natural that the bhaktas, the devotees, feel like attraction to Sankirtan because it's hard.
Yes,
Yes,
I
it's
don't like
mechanical. It's natural. Bhaktas don't like too much, but it's very important because this. A lot of the Shastras, the Karmic people.
Yeah. I appreciate. Yeah, I didn't tell you, right? The 4 big ones, we send them to Sumatra.
I know, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm happy and sad.
Yes, yes, yes.
So now we have a space.
Yeah. And then after cramped up. and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I'm happy about that. And we reported almost all of them because we needed to. We reported them.
Uh-huh.
And we reported
Oh, okay.
because we needed.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, very merciful. And she just actually 1 day, which is going also very well.
No, but just 1 or 2 weeks ago I came,
Mhm.
leaving in the lights and stuff. So green.
Yeah.
She's being very merciful. I was actually just thinking of you a few days ago because I actually wanted to text you and ask you if you could be there for me. I appreciate you talking on Saturday. Will you be there?
Yes, I still need to see with my wife, but I was,
Krishna.
yeah.
You don't have to worship. No problem.
Yesterday, right?
No problem. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
And how far are you from the temple?
If there's not much traffic, 50 minutes?
50.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking it would be nice to have do this like you and Radha become more around the
Yes, yes.
where I'm from the standing resistance. Yeah, that's really good.
Krishna, Krishna.
Yeah, and it's, I think also about when we speak of mood and culture, it's also nice to have that in the then you also feel inspired to have.
Krishna, Krishna.
I don't know. Maybe you do Shila Buddha, that's when you come or something, I don't know.
Okay.
Krishna, Krishna.
Well, I would need to be first properly trained, properly.
No, a person like you is going to be like,
I have seen it, but I never physically trained to do it.
yeah, but
One
it's,
really good.
yeah, and it's not that different. I don't know if you have some time, one day I could assist you and you can, I can give you this book and I can assist you, I can be there. And I'm sure because how much ever I perceive you to read through it once, you will have time of it. And I can sit there beside you in case you have questions. So,
What time is it?
5.
5. I guess I would have to stay the night here. Easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could try once, maybe and see.
Yeah.
You could try to have the best possible arrangement. No, but I seriously mean it. I think also our Yatra needs it now. Just to have like-minded devotees come together creating. I mean, at least on a personal level, I feel like it's nice if we feel once in a month or twice in a month, wherever we feel that is possible. Just Srila Puja, if you, like I want to know, need the arrangement just for overnight, and just check it out once. And I just wanted to let you know, it would be so nice to have more of you around. Thank you very much.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram. Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram. Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Jai Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Radha Srila Sangha Bhaktivinoda Maharani Hare Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare. Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Jai Shri Krishna Nityananda Devadananda Srimad Bhagavatam Namo Mahavana Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare